Hey, and welcome to Board with Life News for August 23rd, brought to you by Holy Grail Games. Today I'm going to talk to you about Gingerbread House, Trap Words, Forum Trajanum, an expansion for Isle of Skye, and the Kickstarter for Firenze. Let's get to it. Gingerbread House is a new game coming out from Lookout Games, designed by Phil Walker Harding. In this, you are playing as witches, and you're trying to lure different fairy tale creatures into your gingerbread house so that they can rate whose gingerbread house is the best, because that's what witches do. Different fairy tale creatures like different types of gingerbread, so you have to tempt them in different ways like that. The game plays, you have double-sided tiles that look kind of like dominoes, and you're placing them on your own personal 3x3 grid. And tiles can also be stacked vertically, so you're building your house up, trying to kind of change what's on the top in order to lure them in. So, as of course you know, I feel like I talk about a Phil Walker Harding thing like every week. It can't be true though, because he doesn't release that many games. But I love Phil Walker Harding. If you watch my Gen Con recap, you saw that I liked Gizmos that came out from CMON Games quite a bit, but I didn't love it. I didn't love it as much as some of his other games. Not to say I didn't think it was still a very, very good game, but I've got really high hopes for this one because this sounds super right up my alley because I love tile stacking games, so very excited about this. Trap Words is a new game coming out from CGE. This is a party game that seems like it's based pretty heavily on the game Codenames from CGE, that obviously was a gigantic, massive smash hit party game. In it, you split into two teams, and you're trying to delve deeper into a dungeon, but the deeper you go, the more kind of forbidden words there are that you're trying to avoid. Really nothing in the description differentiates it mechanically from Codenames, aside from, I guess it gets progressively harder and you keep going, but I don't know if there's any difference other than that. Not to say that's a bad thing, because Codenames is great, and a fantasy theme is fun, so maybe this will bring some new, I'm sure this will bring some new people in. If it is kind of just like a reskin of Codenames, I'd like to see something a little bit new, because that would be fun. A little dungeon crawler word game thing. We'll see. Forum Trajanum is a new game announced from Hutch Games and Stronghold, designed by Stefan Feld. This is a city building game using tile placement mechanics, and honestly, I read through both the publisher's description and then W. Eric Martin's description on BGG, and I found it very hard to follow what exactly is going on in this game. That's not dissimilar from a lot of Feld games. He has a lot of kind of mechanics that very elegantly often work together, but reading them, for some reason, things don't click as quickly for me, which is weird. But yeah, so I don't fully understand how to play it. You're like taking tiles and placing tiles, but that's all I really understand. Anyways, it does seem to be slightly on the heavier side of Feld's designs as opposed to the lighter side, which I don't know why I said as opposed to the lighter side. That's a natural assumption when I say on the heavier side. But it does seem to be one of his heavier designs. And when Stefan Feld is at his best, he is the best for my money. Like, his best games are some of my absolute favorite games. He doesn't make any bad games. He just makes some games that aren't as much for me. So I never know. But always very excited to try out his new stuff. Isle of Skye Druids is the second expansion for Isle of Skye that came out in 2015. Isle of Skye is one of my absolute favorite games of the past couple years, so I'm always excited to see new stuff coming out. Its first expansion, Journeyman, added a whole bunch of new stuff. New mechanics, new boards, new stuff, and a lot of people felt like that was too much new stuff. This one, Druids, the upcoming expansion, seems to kind of, not correct that, but be a different alternative to that, because there are no new mechanics presented in this game. It just adds a second phase of the buy round, where after buying from other players, you have the option to buy from the Druids, and the Druids have special tiles that can either have stone tablets and or scrolls on them. Stone tablets give you special powers throughout the game, and scrolls are just a new method of scoring the game. So, always excited to see new stuff added to games I love. This week's Kickstarter is for Firenze. This is coming from Quinted Games. It's a reprint of a game from 2010 that was much beloved and, of course, has been out of print for quite a while, designed by Andreas Stedding. In this, you are in Florence and you're building towers with like little not click together, but very nicely stackable wooden pieces that have little V's that click into each other. Again, not click, but it's nice. You're stacking tiles. It's great. The tiles, the little tile bits, are also the currency in the game, so it adds this push-pull of, do I use this for a tower? Do I use this to buy something? That kind of stuff. The Kickstarter also has options if you want to bundle all of Quinid's games that have come out, I think this year, but 3 of their games, including Raiatea and Counterfeiters, so that's a good deal if you're interested in all of that stuff. If you just want Firenze, it is going to be it is $47 right now on Kickstarter, so go back that. Alright, that's the news for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you like what I do. I do board game news every single week. Make sure you follow me on social media. I'm at Chris Bryan Games on Instagram and Twitter. And make sure you check out my Patreon, linked in the description below. If you want to throw a buck my way, it's very much appreciated. This week's question comes from @Daniel Solis. Actually, @Daniel Solis' wife gave me the question, but it was on his Twitter. Anyways, and she asked, what color do you always play? I always play purple. Purple is the color I play if it's available in games, which it's only probably in maybe a quarter of all board games. But if it's an option, I'm playing with purple. If purple's not an option, then I just take whatever other people don't want, which usually ends up being yellow. But yeah. When I was first starting to pitch to publishers and stuff, my prototypes and designs, I'd always have purple in my prototypes because I played with purple. I want purple to be a playable color in my games, but I learned that that's not the best idea because I would always let publishers pick whatever color they wanted to play because I'm trying to sell them a product and want them to have the best possible time. And occasionally they'd pick purple, which was fine, but it just meant that I constantly was moving their pieces because I always play as purple. So now I know don't put purple in my prototypes or else my brain will do a dumb thing. Also, Alex Kevern, one of my favorite designers I talk about a lot, he did Gold West and Sentient and all that stuff. He also usually plays as purple and has purple in most of his games, which I like. But we playtest each other's games a lot, and when we play each other's games, we have to... It's whoever bought the game or whoever's design it is gets to play as purple, and the other person has to play something else. But, yeah, purple. Thanks for the question, and I'll see you next week.